we're gonna go over 10 of the biggest things affecting the Massachusetts real estate market in 2026. A lot of people are asking questions. Are prices going up? Prices going down? Where's the state going and how are we currently sitting? So stay tuned. We're gonna take you through all 10 of those right now. So the first thing we're gonna discuss and what most people ask about is pricing. Where are we? Are prices going up? Are they going down? What's our average days on the market? So the median Massachusetts home price right now is averaging between $600,000 to $625,000. That's one of the highest in the country, and it's up an average of 1% to 3% year over year. So to answer your question, yes, prices are still going up, but slowly. But another noteworthy topic is that days on market have continued to climb as well, adding about 7 to 8 more days average on market to sell your home this year as compared to last year. That is still a signal that we're fluctuating more so towards slower appreciation and more so towards a home buyer's market as opposed to a home seller's market. So to sum this up, homes aren't flying off the shelf like they were during the COVID years with low interest rates. The prices are stabilizing and prices are still going up on average, and that's because of inventory, and that's what we're about to get into right now. So number 2, or the next section we're going to discuss, is the starter home crisis we have here in Massachusetts, the lack of inventory we have in that space. A big reason for it is because home builders do not build starter homes anymore. They do not build small ranches, they do not build capes. Why would they do so? It's hard enough to find land to build on, and when you do so, you're gonna build typically a colonial that you can sell for $600,000, $700,000 because there's a big market for that. So we have a starter home crisis here in Massachusetts, and I'm talking about, your homes at $500K and below. They are hard to come by, they fly off the market, and they're what people mostly can afford. Massachusetts received a grade of an F in Realtor.com's latest grades of where each state ranks in terms of home building and inventory. And the homes that we are building, again, are larger, more expensive single-family homes. So it's a big problem, and I think the government eventually has to step in here to incentivize home builders to build these more smaller and more affordable home options to loosen inventory and to finally help home buyers in this real estate market. The third section we're going to talk about is the luxury market divergence, right? So we just talked about how there's a super tight inventory and super competitiveness still at that starter home level, that $500K and above. But on the contrary, we've actually seen some movement in the different direction at the homes that are $1 million plus. So this is what we're calling the luxury market divergence. So $1 million homes are sitting longer. They have long days on the market. Those are going up year over year. The inventory of $1 million homes is going up year over year. And there's been more price cuts on average per $1 million listing in Massachusetts over the last year as well. So there's 2 markets really operating here at once, and it's pretty easy to see why. Interest rates are still pretty high, and if you go and you run the math with a monthly mortgage on a $1 million property, putting 20% down, you can see why it would be so hard for most people to afford. Number 4 is the new home inspection law in Massachusetts. As of October 2025, Massachusetts outlawed waiving of the home inspection. And so on our old offer sheets, you used to be able to cross off the home inspection section. On our new offer sheets, there's no crossing off of that section. So you as a homeowner, a home seller, aren't going to know if a new home buyer is waiving or not waiving their home inspection. And that was the purpose of the law, and to not make a home inspection a leverageable component of an offer. However, I will say the actual results of this law and the changes on our offer sheets haven't had that effect. So on our new offer sheets, a home buyer can either opt to perform a home inspection as is, or they can say up front that they're not going to ask for repairs or credits or reductions up to the first aggregate amount of repairs that they see. And so what this is conveying to you is that they're not going to back out or ask for repair items up to the first 5, 10, 15K amount of repairs that they see. What I will say is that this is an extreme gray area because who determines what is worth what, or if, a 20-year-old roof that's gonna last 30 years, who determines the monetary value on that? So I personally do not like the way it is being carried out right now. I don't think it's true to the law. And I think the alternative should be, if we want people to have home inspections, if we want the law to carry it as it's supposed to, is just to have a paragraph on our offer sheets that says every buyer has the right to a 10-day home inspection period, and there's nothing else that can be filled out or acknowledged on behalf of this. And then the buyer can actually choose after the fact if they want to have that home inspection. The fifth thing we're going to talk about is interest rates. And what we call or are determining is the lock-in effect of these interest rates. So interest rates obviously affect the housing market substantially, right? It affects affordability, which affects the number of buyers and sellers, right? So today's interest rates are around 6% flat. That is lower on average in the last year to year and a half to 2 years. So we are in a lower period now where interest rates have gone down. However, the problem that we're seeing is that a lot of people who bought homes between really 2015 to 2022 were able to lock in rates from 2.5% to 4%, right? And so it makes no sense for this group of people, on average for the most part, to upgrade and buy their forever home, right, at a 6% or 7% rate now, right? And so that's causing a big lock-in effect, right, where these starter home people aren't loosening up, putting their homes on the market and upgrading to their forever home because they're locked into this monthly payment. And just to show you what the price difference is, right, if that starter home family is going to that forever home with the higher rates, a $500K loan at 3% interest rate is $2,100 a month. A $500K loan at 6% interest rate is about $3,200 a month. It's almost double the cost. It's more than $1,000 more per month. You can see it's a substantial impact on the current housing market is the high interest rates coming off the super low interest rates and the lock-in effect and how that's affecting inventory. So what we're seeing is that sellers aren't moving unless they're forced to move and supply is staying constrained. The sixth thing we're going to talk about is the National Investors Law. Trump recently passed a law banning large institutional investors for buying single-family homes. However great this law is, it really just affects areas like Arizona, Florida, and Texas. Companies like BlackRock or these large institutions are buying up 15 to 20% of single-family homes and renting them out. In Massachusetts, the number of single-family homes or single-family rentals that a large national institution or investor owns, or BlackRock, is close to 0%. It's not even close to 1%. It has such little effect here, right? Those big national investors don't buy single-family homes here. Number one, because they're super expensive, and number two, because we have potential rent control on the way. So they don't. That's a great law. That's helping those other parts of the country, but it's having no effect here at all. The seventh thing we're going to talk about in the Massachusetts housing market is utility costs. Massachusetts consistently ranks as one of the highest utility cost states in the country, specifically with electricity being one of the highest costs in the country per state. What we've seen is that a lot more home buyers today, as we've seen recent deals at the state level with gas and electric, cause our bills to go up substantially. We've seen home buyers be a lot more conscious of insulation, electric heat pumps, and solar, right? Sort of looking at those things, wanting to see the proof in the pudding of utility bills, what you're paying per month before they make a decision to make an offer on your home. So if you're a homeowner, I would say get your rolling 12 of utility bills up for home buyers to potentially ask for. Number 8, another new law that's affected the Massachusetts housing market, and we expect to continue to do so, is the ADU law, or the accessory dwelling unit law. So Massachusetts rolled out an ADU law last year, which allows for an addition to a property or another small detached property on your property line to serve as an extra rental unit or income unit or an in-law type setup. There's a lot of people who want to have in-law setups, and prior to get an in-law or an ADU require a special permit, and what this law does is it doesn't require that special permit as long as you're within conformance on everything else in terms of setback laws and buffer zones in terms of wetlands and stuff like that. I think this is going to be a big change and helpful change in the year to come in terms of loosening up inventory and seeing families buy properties together with the intention in mind of buying a house and adding an ADU on it. And number 9, this is another kind of state level thing. It's the focus on relieving the housing market in Massachusetts, but specifically with the state only focusing on relieving the rental market. So the government just announced a $140 million relief to 1,300 new residential rental units, which is great. It's gonna offset the cost of rent, which is fantastic. However, it does nothing to help homeownership, and it does nothing to help those starter home levels and loosen inventory in the housing market like we talked about before. So in my personal opinion, the government needs to step in with some sort of GI Bill or some sort of similar type of bill like they have in the past and incentivize these smaller homes, these smaller home communities for home builders to come in and to make money on it, right? I think that sort of strategy is needed, and I think the continued investment into the development of the rentals is great, but it does nothing to help home ownership and help fix our housing market here in Massachusetts. And number 10, we're going to talk about population shift and migration trends, right? Where are people moving? Kind of contrary to what you'd expect to hear, there actually isn't a large net migration out of Massachusetts and a reduction in the population. Massachusetts, on average, is steadily still smallly growing, but what we've sort of seen in Massachusetts is a reshuffling of the population. We see a lot more people leaving Boston due to affordability, due to working from home, and so we see a lot of people moving out of Boston, so we see that population going down in the Boston surrounding towns area, and we see the population gaining in places like southern Massachusetts, central Massachusetts, western Massachusetts. So the population isn't shrinking, it's more so reshuffling in Massachusetts. So to recap the video, the Massachusetts housing market isn't crashing, right? What we really have is an inventory problem or a supply problem that I think really needs to be addressed at the government level. So if you or anyone you know is interested in learning more about the Massachusetts housing market, home buying or selling, my team and I help people move and sell and invest in the Massachusetts area every day, every week here. So feel free to reach out to us in the contact details below. I will see you guys on the next one.